Okay, let's see if this works. It's a little noisy around here. Don't know how well I can see this picture, but we'll see what's happening. Okay, so you went out and you scanned, and so you, of course, started the log. When you're done logging, before you shut anything down, you have to go up and save your file. Save data as. I always like to save them to the desktop. This way when I get home and I open up the computer, there it is right there on the desktop, no searching for it. So anyway, so you went out and you got your log. This should be using the same config file that I sent you. This is the main table display. Everything that's being logged has to be on this table. I mean everything. If it's not in this table, it won't be logged. This is the charts table. I really don't use them. Most of the time I use the chart table, which is just easier for me to go through and look at information when I want to look at something. The histograms, which are loaded up in the config file, there's all different ones for different things, total timing of bands, whatever. But anyway, you just right click on the display anywhere, go down here to load all data, and left click load all data, and this is the results we get from this particular log. Your results will be different. This A up here is the average. This means all the data in this line down here is the average of the log that you just did. If you want the very last information that the log counted, this would be this information right here, meaning the L, which, as far as I'm concerned, there's no need to even look at that information. The C is the count. This is how many times this particular data was received in this cell. So you can see right in here the car spent a lot of time during this log in this particular zone. There's also the plus sign. This is the highest data ever received in this log. The minus sign is the lowest data ever received in this log. So anyway, we want to take the average information and always make sure you're on average, because if it's not, you're going to mess up your tune and you're going to have to go back and start to a previous point where you know you're good. So anyway, you're on the average and you want to take this information out of this histogram. So you're going to go up here and you're going to you're going to left click, which is going to highlight the whole data bar. Then you right click, we're going to go to copy. Now over here I've got a tune. This is not the tune I've been working on. But anyway, we're going to go to engine. We're going to come over here to the airflow. And if the general tab isn't highlighted, highlight it now. Right here at the MAF calibration, we're working on the MAF versus frequency low. I'm going to click that. And here is your MAF table. I like to have it in the 2D version. You can have just numbers flat or 3D, whatever view you want. I like this one the best. So now that information from the log we need to put in here, and we want to go left click, turns this blue. Right click, we want to go paste special. Now depending on whether your numbers were 5% air, if they were positive numbers, you always want to go down here and use multiply by percent. If they are negative numbers over 5%, I still use this. If the numbers are negative and most are less than 5%, I go down here and use multiply by percent half. So I didn't pay attention to what they were in this particular log, because this is not the correct log tune combination, but I'm going to go multiply by percent, which then changes this particular tune. This log right here has just changed. All these numbers from my scan has changed. Then you would want to go in and you would want to save the data in this particular thing. So you want to save data as. Now, this is what this particular one's called, but to save me knowing where it's at, we're going to name it something like, you can name them whatever you want, but we're going to go math tune 1, and I'm going to call it trash, since this is nothing I want to keep. And then I'm going to save this to my desktop. So I save it to my desktop. Okay. Then I would go to my desktop, and I would take this new tune right here, and I would go put it in the car, and I would go out and do another log or two until you got the results you wanted. Once those results are good, then you want to take this tune and you want to put it back into your stock tune. My stock tune is right here, which this is not the tune I'm working on because my car is not stock, but it is the tune you're working on. I recommend saving this at least on a disk and putting it at HP Tuner's repository. That way, if you happen to lose a disk or something happens to your computer, you still have a stock tune if you ever need to go to. So, anyway, you take your stock tune that you're running in the car. You've been running the math tune to get this information. So you go up here and you click on compare, and then you click open compare file. So now that that tune that you've been working on is in your desktop, let's go find it, and we'll call it this one right here. So now I have my stock tune and the math tune that we had just done and finally got the low math all complete. So we want to go up here into engine, we want to go into airflow, and these things right here, green, are telling me that these two things between these two tunes are different from each other. So I want to bring out the math, which is what we've been working on, the low. Now these symbols right here are, this is the main file. The main file is the stock tune. The one that has a little blue star up at the left hand corner. This one over here has this red star at the right hand corner is the compare file, which is the math tune that you've been working on. So if you go over here and you open up the math tune, which has a different baseline here because you've cured that all out, you take that and you go here and you highlight it with a left click and you go copy. Then you would go back over to the stock tune, which is the main file, and you would click here and go paste. That puts your new math information into your stock tune. I'm not going to paste it in because I just have two tunes grabbed up here to show you, and I don't want to change my stock tune, so so anyway, and then you would go out and install the stock tune back into the car, and if you want, you can even log it and see how it's corresponding with what you want to do. So the next part I'll get into, which won't be today, I'll show you how to do some wide open throttle stuff, and hopefully I'll look through your tune and see what kind of nannies and torque management are in there that can be removed, and go from there. Well, hope you have fun and everything works out. Go slow, make sure, and have fun. Alright.